Hi, I'm Mike, founder of GoodBed.com. Today we're going to give you our in-depth review of the Avocado Plush Box-Top mattress. Now this is the third mattress from Avocado that we've reviewed and probably the softest latex mattress that I've ever been on. So I'm excited to show it to you. Stick around. Now, if you've never seen one of our videos before or been to our website, GoodBed.com, the number one thing that you need to know about mattresses is that they're highly personal, which means the best mattress for me will be very different from the best mattress for you and vice versa. And it also means that there's no such thing as the overall universal best mattress. Now, what you should be thinking about when choosing a mattress is what we call the 3 Fs: fit, feel, and features. Fit is about the characteristics of the mattress that determine how good of a fit it's going to be for your body in terms of your weight, your body shape, and your sleep positions. The feel are the characteristics of a mattress that can't be universally better or worse. They can only be better or worse for your personal preferences. And then features are the characteristics that can be better or worse on an objective level. However, they may or may not be a priority for you personally. So let's start with fit, since that's the thing that determines to what degree you're going to get the 2 things that everyone has to get from their mattress: proper spinal alignment and adequate pressure relief. Now, in terms of the Avocado Plush Box-Top, we think this is a mattress that for sure is best for side sleepers, which is really how Avocado markets it. And we concur completely. In terms of the spinal alignment, we think it's absolutely excellent for a lighter side sleeper, say someone under 150 pounds. Even for me, I think it's still, I'm almost 200 pounds. I still think it's probably excellent spinal alignment for someone of my size and weight and shape. For someone who's a little heavier, it's probably not quite as good, but still very good for if you're sleeping principally on your side. If you're a back sleeper, this is not something Avocado really emphasizes for this mattress. They really would probably push you towards the one below this, but I still think that if you're a lighter back sleeper, particularly, it's still good spinal alignment. They do have the zoning that they provide here that does help. I, by the way, feel it for me on both my back and my side. I noticed the zoning, which does help kind of support that lumbar area so that even though there is a lot of soft plushness up on top, you don't feel like your lumbar is just kind of without any support. You don't feel like it just kind of keeps going into the mattress. So I would still say that the back support for back sleepers, for most back sleepers, is still good. For stomach sleepers, this would certainly be the least appropriate relative to the other sleep positions, and particularly for heavier stomach sleepers. For lighter stomach sleepers, you might be able to get by. It might be still pretty good spinal alignment, but the heavier stomach sleeper, it's certainly going to be just too much softness, too much conformance, and too much sinking into the mattress. Now, the good news for side sleepers is that in terms of pressure relief, this is also going to be very good for pressure relief. That's going to be of principal concern to a side sleeper. If you're a back sleeper or stomach sleeper, you absolutely have no concerns about pressure relief on this mattress, or really most mattresses. But side sleepers definitely have to think about pressure relief, and on this mattress, you're going to get great pressure relief, particularly, again, for those side sleepers under 150 pounds. You're going to be just floating on top of this box top here, this really soft latex box top, and you're going to get excellent pressure relief from it, including from the stretch cover does help kind of conform to your body and everything. As you get heavier, like if I were to say someone say over 250 pounds, I would certainly rate the pressure relief not as good on your side for that person because of the fact that this box top and this latex up on top is so soft that person is more likely to be kind of just compressing that fully. And once that latex is fully compressed, it's not going to offer nearly as much pressure relief as it will when it's kind of partially compressed like it will be for a lighter side sleepers. So on balance, the pressure relief would be kind of excellent for the lightest side sleepers, going down to good for the heaviest. So now we can move on to the second of the 3 Fs, which is feel. And again, these are the characteristics that can't be universally better or worse. They can only be better or worse for your personal preferences. And the first of these is softness. And I mentioned up front that this is one of the softest latex mattresses I've ever been on. And actually, as it relates to the top couple inches, one of the tests I do, and of course this is confirmed by the machine testing that we do in our lab, but I go into the top couple inches just with my fingertips. And by that test, I mean, this is perhaps the softest mattress of any kind that I've tested at this level of the mattress. It is just, this talalay up on top with a little bit of wool quilting around it is so buttery soft that this upper part of the mattress is just kind of in a class by itself as it relates to the softness. Once you get below that, once you kind of push 3-4 inches into the mattress, which doesn't take as much effort as it does on some mattresses for sure, you do start to feel support below that that is firmer. And so it doesn't balance out to be, kind of a 9 on our 1 through 9 softness spectrum, but it does come into just barely what we would call an 8, just barely what we call very soft. It's close to being just a straight up soft, but it was just into the kind of firmer end of the very soft classification for us. And that does put it as the softest latex mattress that we have tested. The next field characteristic is cushioning depth, and this is the difference between sleeping more in your mattress versus on your mattress. Now, with regards to some mattresses, particularly firmer memory foam mattresses, this can diverge quite significantly from the softness, but with regards to a mattress that has no memory foam, and not even any polyurethane foam for that matter, like this one, it's going to correlate quite closely with the softness. So you're going to get exactly what you'd expect from this mattress, which is that you're going to sink more deeply on account of that softer cushioning here. So it's going to give you more of that hugged or cradled sensation than you'd get on the average mattress. Now, that being said, I want to note a couple of things. Number one is you are not going to have that stuck in the mud feeling, even though you are nestled into your mattress, because of the fact that this is super quick responding material. So even when you're nestled, you can easily roll over, change positions, not a problem. We'll talk a minute more about that later in the video. But the other thing I would note about cushioning depth here is that latex itself has a naturally buoyant feel. So even though you are nestled into the mattress, you are still going to get a little bit of floating sensation. You're going to get that just from the fact that what's underneath you is latex. It has a very kind of bouncy vibe to it. So you're going to still, even though you are this is certainly deeper than average cushioning, you're still going to get just a bit of that floaty sensation while you're on this mattress. The next feel characteristic couldn't possibly be easier. It's memory feel. And there is no memory foam in this mattress and absolutely no memory feel. And lastly, in terms of the feel characteristics, we have bounce. And obviously, because latex is so quick responding, so resilient, you do have some bounce even just coming up at the surface when you're only kind of getting into the latex itself. That latex has a bit of surface bounce to it. So it's sort of a playful, as you move around on the mattress, you have a little playful bounce up at the surface. And even at the mid-level of the mattress, you get that same kind of thing. Obviously, underneath that, you have springs, which themselves are bouncy. So really, at all levels of this mattress, you're going to have a fair bit of bounce. So now we can move on to the features, the third of the 3 Fs. And again, these are the characteristics that can be better or worse, however, may or may not be a priority for you personally. The first of these being a great example of that, which is motion isolation. If you sleep with a partner, you may be interested in knowing how much a person on, say, this side of the mattress will be aware of or disturbed by what's happening on the other side of the mattress. So we test this a number of ways in our lab with very sensitive scientific equipment, but we also test it just kind of in a crude way, the way we always have in the past. And we can show you that this mattress probably is not one of the best at this, but it is still good, at least at motion isolation. You do have obviously a pocketed coil unit below this, which does allow the coils to move independently from one another, and therefore that helps a lot with motion transfer. But nonetheless, the latex itself kind of is such a responsive material, and there's a little bit of maybe pull and tug in those wool layers that are in this mattress. So some of the kind of quilting layers move around a little bit on the mattress, and that might be where you get a little bit more disturbance than on some other mattresses. But again, on balance, we would rate the motion isolation here as good. The next feature we test is cooling, and this is going to be a key focus for the subset of people who have a tendency to sleep hot on their mattress. And one of the things we found in our lab testing on this front is that a lot of times the mattresses that make a lot of claims about cooling don't necessarily turn out to be the coolest mattresses, and vice versa. Now, this is not a mattress that Avocado really makes a lot of cooling claims about, and I should clarify that as of the time of this video, we've not completed all of our cooling tests on this mattress. So I'm going to refer you to the link in the description of this video where you can find the written version of this review. By the time you see this video on YouTube, we should have updated that written version of this review to include the full results of our cooling tests on this mattress. But what we have done is at least 2 of our tests on this mattress. People tend to care about 3 key things as it relates to cooling. Number 1 is how much initial cooling is it going to provide while I'm falling asleep. Number 2 is in terms of the all-night cooling, how much is heat going to get trapped up near my body while I'm sleeping over an 8-hour period. And the third is about moisture, which is kind of an independent thing, right? A mattress can be good at allowing heat not to get trapped, but if it can't let moisture escape, which all of us are emitting some moisture during the night, and some more than others, that can also be a separate issue. We test all three. We have not yet completed the moisture testing on this mattress, so that's the part I can't speak to. As it relates to heat, we found that this mattress didn't quite do as well as, say, some of the other avocado mattresses that we tested, partly because it uses a little bit more latex, partly because you're sinking a little more deeply. It's going to kind of conform more to your body and allow, therefore, less of the surface area of your body to expend heat in the most efficient way, which is just through direct contact with the air. So there is kind of less opportunity for the heat to escape your body than on a mattress that has, say, only 2 inches of latex and then a coil unit right below that. This one has more latex, more enveloping, and that is kind of working against you in this area. That being said, as it relates to other mattresses, this is still above average, even in this heat-related testing that we did. And I believe that when we get to the moisture testing, because of the fact that there is a lot of wool, we've seen some of the other avocado mattresses, such as the Eco Organic, do really well in terms of moisture because wool has a natural moisture-wicking capability to it. So I think because of the wool in this mattress, I would expect that this mattress will also do similarly well as it relates to moisture. So I think ultimately our rating on this mattress will be at least good. We can tell you that already from the heat-related testing we've done. But as we add the moisture capabilities, I believe that this mattress could end up being rated even more highly in this category than that. The next feature we test is edge support. And you can see that I've been sitting on the edge of this mattress the entire video that we've been doing. And there is a reinforced edge at the support layer of this mattress. So going around the perimeter, we'll show you later in the video when we cut this thing open, there are a couple rows of smaller diameter coils, which basically puts more steel around the edge of the mattress in order to give it a stronger edge. So there is some edge support here. That being said, on top of that, you have 5+ inches of latex and wool and other things, and those things don't really have edge support features or characteristics per se. So as a result, you're sinking quite a bit through those layers before you even get to the edge support. And therefore, we would say that on balance, when we sit on the edge of the mattress, the edge support here is pretty good, but certainly not the best as relative to other mattresses that we tested. Now, we also look at edge support when you're lying on the edge of the mattress, which we believe is slightly more important than the sitting test because of the fact that it actually affects the usable area, surface area of your mattress. So we look at that as well, and in that regard, because of the fact that your weight is distributed over a larger surface area, that latex is able to hold up better on the edge, and we found that the edge of this mattress performs better in that position. So on balance, we would say that the edge support here is still good. The next characteristic I'll talk about is ease of repositioning. Some people worry about kind of that stuck in the mud feeling. I mentioned earlier that you're not going to have any of that on this mattress, and that's in spite of the fact that it is more of a cushioning, cradling type of mattress. This latex makes it so easy to move around. So if you're worried about that, this is not a mattress that's going to give you any concern on that front. The next feature we test is the use of natural materials in the mattress, which for many mattress shoppers boils down to a principal concern with the lack of harmful chemicals. And no matter how you look at it, this mattress is going to excel in both of those respects. And in fact, the company, Avocado, excels just more generally in this area. This is a company that has a huge commitment to environmental consciousness that goes all the way up to the top of the organization. They're a certified B Corp, they do 1% for the planet, they even have had commitment to being a carbon neutral company. So obviously this shows up at the company level, but it also shows up in the products like this one. This is a product that, let's start with the fact, is certified in its entirety as an organic mattress, which is done by one organization, generally speaking, which is GOTS. They're certainly the gold standard organization for certifying an entire mattress product as an organic mattress. They make a few allowances for things that really can't be natural, like the pocket spring unit, for example. But even in those cases, you have to make sure that you're doing it in the best possible way you could, which is what Avocado is doing in order to get that GOTS certification. Beyond that, everything here is basically a natural product. You've got the cotton, which is in itself certified by GOTS as an organic textile. And then you have below that, you have wool, which is also certified independently by GOTS as organic wool. And then you have latex, which is by and large, for most of the latex that Avocado uses, certified to the GOLS standard, the Global Organic Latex standard. Again, that's independent of the holistic mattress certification that GOTS provides. The latex as a component is tested to the GOLS standard. And you can only get Dunlop latex, this is super nerdy stuff, but you can only get Dunlop latex certified by GOLS. Talalay latex, they won't certify. However, the Talalay latex that's used in the pillow top here, or the box top of this mattress, is still certified by the Forest Stewardship Council. So even that, they made sure to have tested and certified by as a natural product. And it is, of course, still natural latex, that Talalay layer. And then, of course, on the very bottom, you have another layer of that certified, GOLS certified Dunlop latex. So really, top to bottom here, you're talking about a mattress that is very natural and on the whole is an organic product as certified by GOTS. They also do things to avoid the use of chemicals wherever possible, such as this functional tufting. We'll show you more in the materials section of this video, but basically, in order to avoid having to glue layers of latex together, they stitch big heavy-duty nylon right all the way through the entire mattress to hold the layers together that way, in a way that doesn't involve, you know, the chemical adhesives. So they're doing a lot here to avoid the use of chemicals and to emphasize the use of natural materials. And on top of that, they've also had a bunch of certifications to make sure that there's no off-gassing. They did the Eco Institute, they did Green Guard Gold. Those are things that are looking to make sure that there's no off-gassing of harmful materials coming from the mattress. They also did standards to look for just even the presence of possible harmful materials, like Okotex 100. So they are going above and beyond, really trying to grab every certification they can from a third party just to demonstrate their commitment to product safety, to natural, to organic, to put everyone's mind at ease in this area. So there's no question that as we look at this product and evaluate it on this metric, we would say this product is exceptional in this area. The next feature we're going to discuss is adjustable base compatibility, which is something that more and more of our readers are asking us about these days. And first and foremost, this is a mattress that is 100% adjustable base compatible. So that means it's designed to bend and flex. It won't damage or harm the mattress to use it on an adjustable base, and it won't invalidate your warranty in any way to do so either. So that's the first thing you need to know. That being said, we do find in our testing that not all mattresses are equally compatible, or not all compatible ones are equally compatible even. And this one, by virtue of the fact that it is a thick mattress, it's 15 plus inches thick, we do find that those mattresses tend to have a little bit tougher time conforming. In this case though, that was not an issue. So we found that we put this mattress on a base with the head and foot fully elevated at the same time, which is kind of the most extreme test of the mattress's ability to conform. And this one still conforms really well. It is a heavy mattress. This latex is a very conforming and flexible material, so is very capable of conforming to the base right out of the box. So it scores very well in that regard. And on top of that, we also look for any weirdness that happens when you do have the mattress fully elevated, head and foot, because that's again the most extreme test. And sometimes you have quilting that kind of bunches up. This quilting here, it's not very thick, even though you do have a 3-inch pillow top. The quilting itself, the wool part, is less than a half an inch, maybe just a quarter of an inch. The latex in the pillow top is very soft, so you don't have an issue with that. So you don't have bunching up that you feel underneath your hips when you're kind of fully elevated on the base in that kind of valley underneath there. And so overall, we would say that really in every facet, this mattress performs very well on an adjustable base, and we would say that its adjustable base compatibility is excellent. The next feature we're going to discuss is durability, because this is something that is certainly important for most mattress shoppers. And in the past, what I would have done is talk to you about our expectations for durability of this product based on what we know about its materials and construction. And on that level, I would certainly have a lot of positive things to say about this mattress because of the fact that it uses very high quality components. It's primarily using latex as its comfort material. And latex, of all the comfort materials used in mattresses today, is certainly the one with the most proven track record for longevity. It's been used with great success in terms of its longevity for many decades. And so it is also a very dense material and a very flexible, high quality, resilient material. So in general, our assessment of this mattress based on those characteristics would be very positive. But I am pleased to say that we can now go well beyond that. At this point, we can now directly measure the longevity of the mattress by simulating 10 years of use on the mattress and actually measure firmness loss and height loss at various increments of time in that journey. Like, how would you expect this mattress to feel in a few months? How would you expect it to feel in a year, a few years, 5 years, and ultimately 10 years into using the mattress? Now, obviously, that's a very destructive test that also makes a mess of the mattress, so we do all of our other testing before the durability testing begins, and we also like to film the video before that as well. So what I can do is refer you to the written version of this review, which again will be linked to in the description of this video, which by the time you're seeing this video will be published and should contain the results of our durability testing on this product. But in the meantime, my assessment would be quite positive. The only concern I might have is the fact that this latex is fairly soft and therefore a little bit lower density than other latex, but nonetheless, I would still expect this mattress to perform very well in terms of its durability. Now, 3 things that are going to be important to any mattress shopper, but particularly one who's considering buying online, would be delivery, return policy, and warranty. Let's start with warranty, since that's going to be the same no matter where you buy an Avocado mattress. The warranty on this is going to be a 25-year warranty. Now, a couple things you need to know about this. Number one, we always talk about the most important term in any mattress warranty is what they define to be an allowable dip. An allowable dip in the case of most of the Avocado line is 1.5 inches, which is kind of the industry standard. In the case of this mattress, for some reason it's 2 inches. Now, I can only assume that that has to do with the fact that this sort of box top is kind of loose and very fluffy, and maybe they're just feeling like some natural settling could occur that shouldn't be a warranty event. But nonetheless, that's just a term that you should be aware of as it relates to the warranty. The other thing that you should be aware of about the warranty, it is a 25-year warranty in total. Only the first 10 years of it are non-prorated. After that, the prorating is such that you are going to have to pay a pretty significant amount, particularly over time, to get the replacement mattress once you're beyond 10 years. So you're not fully covered in terms of getting a complete free replacement. But for the first 10 years of that warranty, you are completely covered in the event of any kind of warranty event or defect. In terms of return policy, Avocado offers a very generous 1-year return policy. They do ask that you keep the mattress for at least 30 days just to give your body time to acclimate to it. And that is something that we totally understand. It's been proven that your body does need a certain amount of time along those lines to adjust to a new sleep surface. So, but beyond that, you can return the mattress for any reason and receive a full refund, but for a $99 return fee. Now, you might be aware that some online retailers don't have a return fee at all, but I would personally come to Avocado's defense on this. I personally think that $99 is a nominal fee in the context of this mattress that would simply help ensure that people don't abuse the return policies, as sadly we see happen sometimes. And ultimately, I think it is consistent with Avocado's commitment to the environment, because what happens in the case of return policy abuse is mattresses end up in landfills, and that is not a good outcome for anyone, and certainly not for the planet. Now, in terms of delivery, if you buy this mattress directly from Avocado's website or one of their stores, you will get free delivery, certainly to your doorstep, and they also offer the optional ability, you'll pay a little extra fee for white glove delivery. Now, in some cases, for some people, I should say, I might actually recommend taking advantage of that white glove delivery service, only because this mattress is a little bit heavier than most. It's weighed in our case, at 137 pounds. And it is also a little floppy. Latex mattresses in general, because it's such a heavy, flexible material, when you start to put it upright, it tends to get a little floppy and harder to manipulate. So if you're going through tight hallways or up staircases and so forth, especially if you don't have anyone to help you, you probably want to take advantage of that white glove service. That being said, there are 4 handles on this mattress, 2 on each side. They work great. They're very helpful, and certainly for moving your mattress around the bedroom or rotating it or anything like that, that's not going to be a problem, I don't think, for most people. And I would also add that while the mattress is compressed up in a box, which is the way it will arrive, it's much easier. It still weighs the same, but it is much easier to move and manipulate. So in that form, if you have some help, you should be able to get it to your bedroom relatively easily. All right, now we're going to take a peek at what's actually inside one of these Plush box-top Avocado mattresses. And just for starters, Avocado bills this as a 15.5-inch mattress. The one we got is probably not quite that. It kind of depends. I mean, this is a loose box top. There's a lot of padding. There's a lot of wool. It's relatively loosely tufted, so the surface is not 100% even. It does depend a little bit, therefore, on kind of where you measure it. You can get to 15.5 in some places. Right here, obviously, it's a little bit less than that. But nonetheless, that's kind of roughly what you're dealing with in terms of the total profile height. And then within that, you've got maybe 5 different layers is one way to think about it, excluding the quilt here. But let's start with the quilt, because let's actually start with the cover up on top. You do have 100% organic cotton cover, and that cover has a good deal of stretch. This is like GOTS certified organic cotton. So for those of you who are really interested in the organic aspects of this mattress, and of any avocado mattress for that matter, the cotton here is certified to the max as organic. And then basically, yeah, but they put a little elastic in there to give it some nice stretchiness, which does help with the conformance properties and even just kind of the overall feeling of softness that the mattress is able to offer. Quilted into that cover is basically a layer of wool. I don't know how thick it is, maybe 1/4 of an inch or so, but it's just basically like this. This is, again, certified organic wool, just like this, what you see here, but it's sewn between 2 pieces of fabric, the top one being this cover, and then the bottom one being the sort of bottom part of the quilt. And then, of course, right below that, you have this, what they call the box top, which is kind of a pillow top. You can see it's kind of sewn. It does have some loose edge in that sense, but this is where a lot of the softness of this mattress comes from. You've got 3 inches of, now this is, again, for people who are nerding out a little bit over mattress specs, this is tallow latex. This rest of the latex in here is Dunlop latex. Should you care about that? Probably not. What you need to know is that this tallow latex, which is still organic latex, is really soft. This is just absolutely as soft as any latex I've ever felt. In fact, the overall feel, as we talked about, is just about as soft as anything I've ever felt overall, at least in the top couple inches of this mattress. But that comes from this latex right here. So super soft latex in this pillow top. And then below that, you've got another 1/4 inch or so layer of the wool. This wool, by the way, does serve 2 purposes. One is it's helping the breathability and moisture wicking capabilities of the mattress, as well as it's also serving as the fire barrier. So you don't have any kind of, most mattresses by law are required to have fire barrier sort of built in, with usually using some sort of chemicals or some sort of silica fire sock, something like that is used to make sure that the mattress is flame retardant. This mattress uses wool, which is obviously a more expensive way to do it, but also a way more natural way to achieve that same objective. So that's part of the reason why you see wool at various points during the mattress. So that's kind of the bottom of this pillow top. Then you have the kind of sewn flap there. Then you have this wool, again, sewn kind of into the side panel. I've got it sort of pulled apart here. This was hog-tied before, but I've already kind of opened it up for us to take a look inside. And you can see then right below here, so this is right below the pillow top layer, you've got another, this is supposedly a 3-inch layer of latex. Sometimes latex doesn't get cut in even sheets. This here is about 2 right here, but nonetheless, it's another layer of very soft latex, not as soft as this by any means, but pretty soft latex here. Maybe it's like kind of medium soft. This would be now Dunlop latex here. And then you have the 8-inch pocketed coil unit. And what you're looking at here on the edge is kind of narrower diameter coils. that are there to give the mattress a strong edge. This is a zoned coil unit. It's got about 1,000, 1,100, actually closer to 1,100 coils in a queen size. And it goes edge to edge, the coils. So these, the edge support in the mattress is coming from narrower diameter coils going around the perimeter of the mattress that are just basically providing more steel on the edge. So that's what's happening kind of in this coil unit, this 8-inch coil unit here. Now, for those of you who again are really concerned about the organic stuff, you may see that there is some glue used here. That's the only place that there's any glue used in this mattress. This is special glue that's been tested to not off gas and so forth. So there's information on Avocado's website about this adhesive that they use. It's not kind of the normal adhesive, is my understanding, that's used in pocketed coils, but there is no glue elsewhere. Like a lot of times, most times, in most mattresses, you're gonna find glue between layers. You'd see like between these two layers of latex, as an example, just a bunch of glue kind of squirted on there to hold those two pieces together. In this case, that function is being performed by the functional tufting, so they don't need any glue between layers. So when Avocado talks about no glues and chemicals to hold the layers together, that's what they're talking about. And then below this 8-inch pocketed coil unit, you got 1 more inch of Dunlop latex right on the bottom, which is just serving the role of trying to give those coils something solid to rest on. And like I said, you've got the wool here going around the side panel. That's again helping with the fire retardancy. It also gives the side panel kind of a nice, nice thickness and feels really solid, more so than it kind of would without the quilted wool into it. And then you do have 4 handles on this mattress, which is an important thing to note. These are really solid handles. This is a heavy mattress. We used the handles to maneuver it, and that's going to be a very useful feature, particularly with a mattress of this heft and quality. So now I want to take a minute and just give you my overall take on the Avocado Plush Box-Top mattress. As I mentioned earlier, this is one of the softest, if not the softest, latex mattress that I've been on. A lot of times, if you're on a really soft mattress, it's going to have a big billowy pillow top filled with lots of soft quilt foams, polyurethanes, maybe some memory foams. This one here is a very simple construction with just incredibly soft latex foam right up on top and some wool and a nice stretchy organic cotton cover. You can really kind of nestle into it and know that you're surrounded by natural materials. So and a couple other things I think are unique about it. I like the combination of the soft latex comfort layers with the zone support layer of that zoned coil unit. Because of the softness of those comfort layers, your body does sink into the mattress a little bit more, as I've described, but what that does is it then allows you to access the zoning in that support layer. And the net result is your lumbar feels supported. A lot of times on a soft mattress, you're gonna have the risk of feeling that hammocking sensation. That sensation like you're on a hammock where your lumbar is really not supported at all. In this case, I did not experience that. I felt that my lumbar was supported, and that kind of combination of an extremely plush mattress with deeper cushioning, more of a sleeping in your mattress kind of sensation, but yet still underlying support, particularly in that lumbar area, is again quite a unique offering. We did find this to be the absolute best fit for people who are predominantly side sleepers. We found that another unique thing about this mattress, in addition to obviously its many organic certifications, we found that it was very adjustable base compatible for a mattress that is as thick and plush as it is. We also found that for a mattress as plush as this, it has very good edge support. So there's a lot of things I like about the way that they designed this mattress. Now, as I said before, this mattress is going to be best for someone who likes the feeling of kind of nestling into their mattress or being hugged or cradled by it. However, you're not going to get stuck in the mud on this. You're not going to have trouble repositioning. And overall, you're also still going to get a little bit of that latex buoyancy on this mattress, which again is a hard thing to find on a mattress that offers those other characteristics. So all in all, I do find this to be a unique offering that I think will be compelling for a lot of people. So if those characteristics that I just described sound like they're a good match for you, then this is certainly an option that you should consider. All right, so there you have it. That is our in-depth review of the Avocado Plush Box-Top mattress. I hope you found that helpful. I want to leave you with a couple helpful follow-up resources that, again, will be linked to from the description of this video. Number one being the written version of this review, which will contain more information about our cooling tests and our durability tests. Number two being a link to the profile page for this mattress, from which you can find a compact view of all the assessments that we made of this mattress, and you can compare it to any other mattresses in the Avocado lineup, or for that matter, any other mattresses that you may be considering using our side-by-side comparison tool. So I'd highly recommend taking advantage of those resources. And in the meantime, thank you for watching, and I really hope you sleep well.